We're live. Barbershop conversations, man. I just found out. I'm not found out. I've always known this about you, Bob. You're the most powerful man in boxing, dog. You get.
Well, if I'm the most powerful man in boxing, that doesn't say very much because I'm an old guy, and it's hard to believe that an old guy is going to be the most powerful man.
Man, how many pots do you have in your kitchen, man?
What?
How many pots do you have in your kitchen, man? It's been not formally announced, but Devin Haney is potentially going over to you and doing a co-promotional deal with you and Lou DiBella.
Well, I can't talk about that. The truth.
Okay.
I can't. I don't want to be.
Okay.
But the architect of all of it is DiBella. And when it's finalized, DiBella will be the one announcing it.
Okay.
So I don't really want to discuss it.
That's fine.
Not because, not for any other reason. I don't want any nose getting out of joint.
Okay. And last night, by the way, Tim Bradley is growing on me, man. You called that tandem the best, and they're growing on me, man. Tim Bradley is really growing on me, man.
He brings such enthusiasm and such insight into the telecast, and when we team him up with Andre, who's so cerebral, they're just a magnificent team together. And I really, when I can't make my own fights, I really enjoy listening to that telecast. And Joe Test is the best blow-by-blow guy.
Right. And I'm gonna tell you how good that team is. I was watching the PBC fight, Duke basketball, and your fight. I muted Duke basketball. Basketball is my favorite sport, and I muted Showtime, and I listened to Tim Bradley and your team get it done. So congratulations to that. And
yeah, thank you. I was watching, as I was watching the boxing, I watched Duke basketball on my phone because Coach K is a really close friend of ours.
Yeah. And that's why I was afraid to call. I was like, I know Bob is about to watch the Miami game. I know you about to watch it. I was like, please give me a few minutes. So the fight last night. What is your final take on it?
The African kid comes from Nambia. Not only is he a wonderful young man and really smart and articulate, but he's a terrific fighter and a real crowd pleaser.
Right.
And maybe you beat him like Shakur did by being very defensive. But, if you're going to fight with him, you ain't going to beat him. Right. You know what I mean?
No, I totally get that. And that speaks to the greatness and the high IQ of a Shakur Stevenson, understanding distance, because Burchell looked like Bambi with headlights on last night.
Yeah, I mean, when you talk about Shakur Stevenson, there are, every once in a while, boxing geniuses,
right?
Fighters who come around that have styles that they can't be beat, or that's very hard to beat them. Like Floyd Mayweather had that type of style.
Right.
Now Shakur has that style that I think anybody around in boxing today.
Right. So how long are we gonna have to wait for Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson to fight?
Hey, one step at a time, man. One step at a time. I mean, it's not like these guys are sitting around fighting, just nonsense fights.
Right.
I mean, Shakur, even though he's a defensive genius and a great fighter, he's in with a determined, hard-punching guy in Oscar Valdez on April 30th.
Right.
Eddie Reynoso encouraged Valdez to take that fight. And, Reynoso's nobody's fool.
Right. And speaking of April 30th, before we get to April 30th, April 23rd, did you get the 100,000 people in there yet, or how's that coming along?
They won't allow us. it can seat the stadium with the floor could seat 100,000,
right?
But they cut it off at 85 because they don't want all that traffic in the streets and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
So we've tried with the municipality and with the stadium, but they're holding us to the 85, which is okay. I mean, 85 is still pretty goddamn good.
Is there any fear of Dillian White pulling out or him pulling up some shenanigans?
Well, he's going to pull shenanigans, but he's not going to pull out.
Okay.
I mean, this is like 3 or 4 times his biggest payday.
Right. And April 30th, I think is an exciting fight. I'm going to drive up to 15 to check that one out. Shakur Stevenson.
We're selling tickets like mad for the fight.
Oh,
I mean, and this it will. I guarantee you, it will be a sellout. And one of the reasons is we haven't opened up. We're practically sold out in the lower bowl in the MGM, and we're going to put the tickets in the upper bowl on sale because we'll have like 500,000 football fans in Las Vegas
for the draft
that week. For the draft. Right. That's why we picked April 30th, right?
Wow.
So we're pretty sure we're going to sell that fight out.
And Shakur Stevenson said he took short money to take the Oscar Valdez.
I don't know what the hell he's talking about, that he took short money. Is he crazy? I mean, is he getting paid as much as Valdez? No, like maybe a couple of 100,000 less. But it's the biggest payday of Shakur's career.
Beautiful. What's next for Teofimo? Hey, by the way,
Teofimo was at the fight.
I know that, and they gonna need a PR team. I'm just gonna tell you that right now. If you don't want to lose any more hair, Bob, they gonna need a PR team because.
I mean, you're speaking to the choir. I mean, it's very hard to they don't mean any bad, but it's hard to control them.
They're sound bites, man.
They run around. They say anything they want, and we have to deal with that.
Right.
But he's had now. This is a second operation. He had one operation on the elbow, and another operation he just had on the wrist.
Right.
So he's not going to be able to spar for 2 months. So we're going to be able to maybe sit him down and talk to him without the pressure of a fight.
Right.
And we expect to see him back in action maybe in August, but no earlier than August.
Do you anticipate him fighting for one of Josh Taylor's vacant belts, or?
I just don't know at this particular point. If Taylor, and I'll be talking to Taylor this coming week, if Taylor is going to go up in weight or give up the 140-pound belts or some of them, then Teofimo is in line to fight for a title with some of those organizations. And certainly that's what we would do.
Okay, got that. And can you speak on the Terrence Crawford situation? How is that coming with the case and him accusing you of being a racist? And how's that coming?
That's sort of ridiculous.
Right.
I mean, nobody who knows me, I mean, they can call me a lot of things that I might, that might have a grain of truth or that I have to really defend. But that's one thing they can't call me. And, that's just a ridiculous, there's a lot of bad things you can call me and you can point to this or that.
Right.
But the one thing you can't call me is a racist.
Well, people call you cheap. People call you frugal.
Yeah, okay. All right. I don't think I am, but again, I can understand the charge.
Right. How's the case coming, or is it still
nothing's happening?
Nothing's happening. And
no, there's they go through all these motions in the beginning,
right?
Yeah, but there's nothing really happening.
What's the status of you and Terrence Crawford and him? There were some rumors that he may be coming back for a fight.
I have no idea. Maybe people are making it up. I mean, It's possible. I got no animosity to him. I mean, somebody was misleading him with this lawsuit. But again, if there was a fight to be made, we were not going to go for our lungs, and it involves Terrence Crawford.
Right.
There's no reason why we wouldn't do it.
Right. 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 Can you take us behind the veil of the Lomachenko situation? Like, how did that come about?
And well, no, that's easy. Lomachenko was training in Greece. There's a mountain area in Greece, and he was training at a monastery, a Russian Orthodox monastery in Greece that cleans your soul, and it's great for you. And then the war broke out, and his family was in Ukraine, and he just said, "I'm going back."
Right.
But he couldn't fly into Ukraine because there was no airfield. So he flew into Romania and drove to Ukraine, and they gave him a gun and so forth, and he became the part of the defense force.
Okay.
His home is 10 miles north of Odessa. So if you look on the map, you can see pretty much where it is. And Igor's, his manager, talked with the Minister of Culture in Ukraine and asked for special permission for him to leave so he could train, and do the fight with Kambosos. And it was granted the special permission. And then Lomachenko said, no. He said, "I'm not doing it. My job is to defend my country."
Wow.
And so he turned that down. That's as simple as that. There were no machinations, nothing. It's a real personal decision and you can go either way.
Right.
And he decided to stay in Ukraine and fight for his country.
Right. Do you have a piece of Usyk or no? Or
no, Usyk is just a very good personal friend.
Okay. Okay. Now, what's the status of Lomachenko's career? Does it go in stages with the war, or does it, or
we don't not focusing on Lomachenko's career. I'm hoping just pray all the time for the safety of Lomachenko and his family.
And what's the status of Navarrete? Is he still with you?
Yeah, Navarrete is. We hope to have a new long-term contract with Navarrete.
Okay.
He has a contract with Fernando Beltran, and he and Beltran have a falling out, but we're working towards a contract with Top Rank, and we take care of Beltran.
Got that. Makes a lot of sense. So how did you and Lou DiBella keep the train on the tracks and moving forward and potentially getting Kambosos his biggest payday?
I don't want to talk about
it. I'll try it, Bob. I'll try. I'll try.
Talk to Lou about it.
No, I'll definitely talk to Lou. And in comparison to Lomachenko, how would you compare Lomachenko to going to a war and Ali not going to a war? I've been thinking about that lately.
Yeah, I can see the similarities. One goes into the war and the other doesn't, but they each did it with a great deal of personal belief and suffered economically because of the position that each of them took.
Right. And moving forward with the 135-pound division, Tank Davis released some tweets yesterday of your right-hand man, who I admire, Derek, conversing with him, and he released it on social media. Do you have any interest in promoting Tank Davis?
Well, let me just say, if Tank Davis is a free agent, and I am not interfering with anybody's contract, so I have no idea whether he is or isn't a free agent. If he's a free agent, would we want to sign him for some fights? The answer is clearly yes.
Right.
I mean, he's a good attraction. He's a terrific fighter. And somebody said that Derek, who works for Top Rank, uh, talked to them about Tank Davis.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's accurate because Derek told me that that's what he was going to do.
Right. Right. No, that's actually good. And Floyd Mayweather actually came out this morning and said all things come to an end. So he pretty much coincide with Tank Davis. Would that be interesting? Al Heyman as the manager and Bob Arum as the promoter. How would that work out?
It would work out terrific. Al's a very smart guy, and he is involved. He knows boxing,
right?
And we worked with Al on a number of occasions, and Al and I are each too intelligent,
right,
to let any kind of nonsense step in the way of making a good match and making money for everybody.
No, you're absolutely right. And let's go across the pond because we both want to go watch this game. Eddie Hearn said he'll decline taking your ticket. He said he said the last time you had him on the other side of the TV, so he'll
what the hell is he talking about? What the hell? What was the other time? I mean, he makes up shit in order to put the spotlight on himself. I mean, the guy is the craziest egomaniac in boxing.
Right.
It's all about him.
Right.
He's never asked me for a ticket. He never, I put him on the side of the cat. What the hell is he talking about? I mean, again, I have no idea what the hell he's talking about. But the point is, neither does he. He just talks to hear himself talk, and I don't. I mean, you listen, you read some of the stuff that he says. I mean, it's so outlandish that he's making a fool of himself.
Right.
And nobody offered him a ticket because you don't. If I do a fight, I'm not offering tickets. If he's not the prime minister of the UK, so I'm not offering him a ticket. If he wanted to go to the fight, if he called us up, we would certainly accommodate him.
Right.
Because we're colleagues in the sport of boxing. But again, to say that he's not going to go and this, all he does is bring publicity to the fight.
Right. And potentially this could be another feather in your cap. One up in Eddie Hearn. You're going to have the biggest crowd. You could potentially get his fighter.
Yeah, listen, I
know you take pride in that, Bob. I know you take, because you're a man like me. So I know there's a level of like sense of satisfaction.
No. Am I proud that we sold out in 3 hours? Sure I am. But it has nothing to do with me. You have to understand, it has nothing to do with me. In other words, I didn't cause the sellout. I didn't cause the frenzy for the ticket buying public.
Right.
It was Tyson Fury, and the fact that he's coming back after a couple of years to fight in the UK that did it.
Right.
Period. End of the story.
Right.
And I'm not saying, and if, for example, if besides, I have my partner there, Queensberry, Frank Warren, is the one who made the arrangements for the sale.
Right.
And I'm not saying to anybody that if Eddie Hearn was the promoter, he wouldn't have sold out as quickly as we did.
Right.
So you got to understand, promoters sometimes can take credit for what happens.
Right.
And sometimes they get blamed unfairly for what happens.
Right.
But in most cases, or in many cases, got nothing to do with the promoter.
What has inspired you to be more of a mover and shaker the last 3 or 4 years? it seemed like you was on cruise control, and then you just hit a throttle, and you moving and shaking a lot now, Bob, like with fighters and different promoters and stuff like that. Why?
I don't, that's your perception.
Gotcha.
But in fact, I've been doing the same thing for my entire career.
Right.
Now, sometimes you get into a groove like a hitter in baseball, and you're hitting home runs and you're hitting the base hits are raining off your bat.
Right.
And other times you're doing the same swing and you can't get on base.
Right.
It happens.
Right.
Again, life isn't easy, and sometimes everything falls into place, and sometimes it doesn't.
So your swing would be Ted Williams right now.
Well, we're connecting now, which is quite correct. I understand.
Yeah, man.
But again, it is what it is.
Right. And I don't want to keep, because I know you want to watch the game.
Yeah.
When they announce it, I'll call you, and then, or if they announce it, I'll use that term.
We'll talk.
We'll talk.
Let Lou get the accolade, because if the fight happens, which I certainly hope it will, a lot of it is because of DeBella,
right,
and how he handled the situation.
Right. And I appreciate you. And go watch the final. Who you got today? Miami's playing who?
Well, Miami's playing Kansas, I think.
Oh yeah, Miami's playing, so Kansas should win by 7.
Yeah, wouldn't that be amazing if Miami wins and North Carolina wins? There'd be 3 teams in the Final Four.
Yeah,
from the same conference.
Yeah, but I'm rooting for St. Peter's, man. I like that story.
Me too. Everybody's rooting for St. Peter's.
I'm rooting for St. Peter's, man. And as we go away, we'll root for St. Peter's. And Bob, I appreciate you.
You think that coach is going to get a high-paying job?
You know how it goes. Remember what they did to Shaka Smart? He went from VCU to Texas, so I can anticipate him pretty much getting the same thing. And that's tough.
But I think his goal is to go back to Seton Hall.
Yeah, Seton Hall. Yeah, I could definitely see that happening, man. And he could stay in the New Jersey area and still have those pipelines. Who's your favorite athlete of all time, by the way? Non-boxing.
Non-boxing. Yeah. Favorite, Jim Brown.
Wow, Jim Brown. I've been trying to get a hold of him. I've been in communication with his wife for some time, but I guess it hasn't been working out. But yeah, Jim Brown's an interesting guy. Were you a part of that? Speaking of Jim Brown, because I heard another interviewer, Sean Sintel, ask you, were you a part of that meeting in the 60s? Did you help out in any way?
Absolutely.
Can we leave on that note?
Watch the game.
All right.
The next time I'm on, I'll discuss it.
All right. That'll be cool.
Jim and I were the architects of that meeting.
Wow, interesting. All right, appreciate you, Bob.
Okay.
All right. Talk to you soon. Thank you, brother. Oh man, Bob Arum, man. And as you guys know, he is one of my favorite interviewers, man. And so we'll just sit back and wait for Lou DeBella to announce it. But I think it's important that we don't lose sight of the realities of this boxing thing. And like I said, I just dropped a video on the ground level. It's congratulations to Team Haney. And I think at some point, even though as you guys know, I'm very cordial with Bob Arum, and these fighters got to stand up and seek ownership, man. And I think that it's going to be a good fight. Everything on the ground level, I just disagree, because I think George Kambosos would have been left at the altar, and then we would have changed the paradigm, and he would have been begging. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, man, congratulations to Lou DeBella, Bob Arum, Team Haney, Kambosos, for making it happen. And they should be announcing it pretty soon. It sounds like they just got some paperwork to do. And like Bob Arum says, Lou DeBella deserves a lot of credit. And for those of you who don't know, I don't talk to Lou DeBella often, but I like the underdog story. I genuinely love the underdog story. And I know he had some run-ins with PBC, and PBC left him out for dead. And And history is going to listen to what I'm saying. And I'm a huge Deontay Wilder supporter. Love Deontay, whatever Deontay Wilder needs from me. History is going to prove Lou DiBella was moving in the best interest of the fighter as it pertains to the Deontay Wilder. I'm not talking about the deal. I believe in my heart Lou DiBella was moving in the best interest of the fighter. And obviously it puts Lou DiBella in a position to move and shake and be more powerful in the sport of boxing. I understand that. And who wouldn't want to do that, right? And but I like Lou, man. I like Lou. And he's been fair to me. And I talk to him maybe once or twice a year. And I can anticipate a great interview with Ness on the Boxing Voice and Lou DiBella. So guys can anticipate that. And I'm gonna talk to Bob next. As soon as they announce the fight, we're gonna get into the details and the nooks and crannies of it. And but anyways, I totally appreciate you guys. Don't forget 9 Wives, man. 9 Wives. Click the link below, 9 Wives. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you guys. Peace.